Hi, thanks for clicking on my blog. This is Larry Baker. I am a level 2 certified sommelier and senior wine and spirits consultant at ABC Fine Wines and Spirits here in Sunrise, Florida. And the lovely Jennifer is my camera person, my partner, who has a nicer name tag than me, tells you where you're from, but I'm from Brooklyn, New York. Maybe that's better, I don't put where I'm from. I've done a lot of sparkling wine. We did The Secret, Franciacorta. We've done things about champagne. Today, this video is a different angle of the champagne market, and there's going to be a few points that I want to make. And there's so much we can talk about champagne, but this is a specific angle. This is all about let the buyer beware. This is let the consumer be aware. This is strictly you decide. I never do. I will never bash a brand name or a brand that you buy that you like. Go ahead. This is just giving you the options that are out there and telling you you can make the decision where you think your hard-earned money is best spent. First of all, I don't like the phrase about rosé or the phrase about champagne, that champagne season is over or rosé season is spring and summer. What does that mean, champagne season? Is there a season for drinking a wine with bubbles in it, that it's only for celebrations when you win the World Series, the Kentucky Derby, getting married, a toast for somebody who's retiring? Why not? What do you drink elsewhere? Do you drink beer? Beer has bubbles in it. Coca-Cola, should there be Coca-Cola season only when you celebrate an anniversary? So if you like wine and you like Pinot Noir and Chardonnay, why not one with bubbles? And you're obviously drinking champagne at celebrations because you like it. Why not? I think a lot of it is because one reason, you can't afford it all the time, either can I, but you can when you get done listening to this video. Number two is you like at celebrations the sound of the pop of a cork. Well, I tell you, after 35 years ago working as a fine dining restaurant waiter, if you do make a pop sound and they hear it, and you don't get written up, you don't get yelled at by the general manager, you get fired. So popping is for killing somebody or, knocking someone's eye out. It's a dangerous thing, and foaming all over the place and having the foam drip all over your brand new carpet that was just clean is really not the way you're supposed to, but that's a whole different subject. So I think champagne season should be all year long. Secondly, I always tell you about wines that the most important aspect is the vintage or the year that the grapes were harvested. Was the weather good? Was the weather good or bad? And with champagne, in the Champagne region of France, they make what they call non-vintage champagne, a mixture of years, and without getting technical, at the very end of the double fermentation, there's a little leftover juice in the bottle, and they do what they call dosage. If they want to make a sweeter champagne, they add a little sweetened wine. If they want to make a rosé, they add a little Pinot Noir for color, and they try to make a consistent house style because there's no year. The problem is you as the consumer in the restaurant with a product like anything from Moet Chandon. I just read that not even the Veuve Clicquot or the Dom Perignon, Moet Chandon produces 700 million bottles of just their champagne. That's a lot of mass-produced. The smaller producers that I like to think of as grower champagne, where the actual winemaker or the family grows their own grapes, they produced about 1,500 cases, some even under that. So the retailer, the restaurant, or the big supermarket, or Trader Joe's, or whatever, who stacks up all those big brands that with no vintage, after Valentine's Day, because people think it's only a celebration, what do? They shrink wrap it, put it in the backs, and the next year, or maybe it was from 3 years ago, so that becomes a storage issue. How was your champagne stored? You don't know. Well, you read a review. Moet Chandon, this release, not this year because it's got no year, was a really good 93-point scoring wine. But which release are you drinking and which release is the reviewer drinking? He gets fresh stuff or he or she gets good stuff, but you don't know where that retailer or that restaurant, how many years they've been storing, because it doesn't have a year on it. Now, champagnes with a vintage, they're more expensive. For example, we all know this label, right? Okay, this is a Veuve Clicquot, the big yellow label, and it's always a good video when the shopping carts come rolling down the tracks here. It makes it show you that we're really live in studio or in the store. So you have the yellow label, Veuve Clicquot, non-vintage. and it's $43.98. I've seen in some retailers at 60, restaurants between 90, 120 bucks on South Beach in Florida here, and you've seen it. Good product, you know, and I drink it, but it has no vintage on it. It's their non-vintage. So they make a vintage, which is about 90 a bottle, and then they make Veuve Clicquot. Now this is a 2004 La Grande Dame, and this is one of the best products. It's also $200 a bottle. Here comes the railroad tracks. There we go. I love that sound. But that $198 for a vintage, the best that Veuve Clicquot makes, but it's Moet Hennessy. Excellent bottle of champagne if you want to drop 200 bucks on a bottle, but at least you can look up whether 2004 was a good year for that. Then Perrier-Jouet. Perrier-Jouet, that's their rosé. We sell it for $87.99. $87.99, solid non-vintage rosé, but then you go to the Perrier-Jouet, which is their Belle Epoque Fleur Rosé Champagne from a vintage 2004, just slightly above, $311 per product. That's why people don't drink champagne. $311 per bottle for the rosé vintage champagne versus the rosé no vintage, a multitude of years, and you don't know when the release was, okay? We go to our product. One of our direct-to-you products is Jean Noël Hatton. This is a non-vintage champagne. There are 6 grapes that are authorized to be used in Champagne, France. I will name them: Petit Meslier, Arbonne, Pinot Blanc. I know you never heard of those. Maybe you heard of Pinot Blanc. And most people use Chardonnay, Pinot Meunier, and Pinot Noir. Pinot Meunier is usually the little bit, and most of them don't even use it. Most use just Pinot Noir, Chardonnay, or 100% Pinot Noir, 100% Chardonnay. Nobody uses the other 3 grapes or the other 4 grapes. This one is a non-vintage champagne, and it is made with 60% of the grape no one ever heard of, Pinot Meunier, and 40% Pinot Noir. How much? $29.99. $29.99. Remember, this Veuve Clicquot, non-vintage, great product, $43.98. You're drinking non-vintage champagne at everyday prices, $29.99. Okay? Now, here comes to another point. This will be point number 3. This is Hatton's vintage champagne. Why am I holding up the sign of 39? That's a vintage champagne. It even says, you probably can't read, but a steal for, I don't write this, but ABC writes it because it's true. A steal for a quality vintage champagne. This is a family. The Hatton family started in 1928 in Dameray, which is in Reims. Reims is where Veuve Clicquot is made, so it's right near Reims. It's in the Reims area, Dameray, by the great-grandfather Octavie Hatton, now run by the great-grandson. A small family 1,500 case production of the vintage. Now, why am I holding just the sign and not the bottle of wine? We don't have any, and we probably won't. And customers say, well, that's why, because I can buy 700 million bottles of Moet champagne. It's probably easy to find on the market. But I want to show you why it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Don't get mad. Be happy that the store or the restaurant is out of that product, because that means their fresh shipment, that means it's such a small boutique artisan-made wine that you're going to be guaranteed that they're not going to get a boat from France for another 3 months. So good wines run out because it's very small quality production, not mass produced, and the price is right. Vintage champagne for $39.99 instead of vintage champagne for $311 a bottle or $200 a bottle. The last thing that we're going to end it, as I said, there were 6 grapes that are used or authorized in champagne. Nobody uses them except this one bottle. They do make a non-gold bottle. This is the Moutarde family. Père et fille in French means father and sons. That's how much of a family business. It's a father and son business. And I'm reading at the back of the label, it's about 17% of each of the 6 grapes. Some are 18% to make it 100%. It's Arbonne, it's Petit Meslier, Pinot Blanc, Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and Pinot Meunier. All 6 authorized grapes, which is why they call it a cuvée Day 6 cepage. Cepage means grape. So this is a blend of all 6 authorized grapes from a very small family winery. The one without the gold, $59.99, 2008 vintage, 93 points. Look it up online. It's one of the, I'd say, if not the best champagne. And I love Krug, and I love Salon, and I love all those names that you like. I just don't have $318 to buy a bottle of Krug, when the best champagne and the only champagne with all 6 grapes, authorized grapes in this bottle with the vintage is $59.99. And this baby, the limited edition, only a few hundred bottles made per year with the gold label. What a gift, right? $74.99. I love Dom. I love Dom. People celebrate with Dom Perignon, part of the Moet family. It's a vintage champagne. We sell it at a really good price at $149.98. I can buy 2 bottles of this that I don't see in every place, and I'm telling you, the only champagne with all 6 grapes. Dom does not have all 6 grapes, and neither does anybody else. 2 bottles for the price of 1. So that's what I want you to do. Number 1, we'll review. Champagne season is all year long, and so is rosé season. But champagne, drink it all year, especially at $29.99. You can afford, okay? Try to find the small grower names, because you're going to get better quality on a non-vintage champagne, because it's going to be fresh, and they are going to run out of stock, but at least you know what you're getting is fresh storage. And buy quality vintage champagne. You do not have to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars when you buy from small family. Drink it all year for $59.99 or $74.99. You can toast, you can drink, you can say, I just drank what Larry said is the best champagne, okay? So, remember, follow my blog, put my email address, your email address on the follow section, so that you can have my services by phone or WhatsApp or FaceTime or anyway, Skype, 24 hours a day, all 50 states, and including the countries of Mexico and Canada. I will answer you your wine questions or pair wine and food for you. Or check us out online if you're local in Florida, www.abcfws.com, or come here, see Jennifer's new badge, or come and see me right here in Sunrise, Florida, and we will be happy to pair your meal, or as we say, that's why ABC means always be celebrating. We don't have a season for wine or champagne. It's all year long. Always be celebrating. Till I see you next time right here on www.larrythewineguy.net. Drink champagne, chin chin, and have yourself a great day.